Okay, this is just a short video on how to create an app in Adobe XD. And I have mine set up. I've already logged in. I've downloaded the program. I logged in so it would save everything for me. And what you have here is a couple options in terms of making your app. So I'm going to make mine in the iPhone X or iPhone 10. If you do the drop down, you can see there's a whole bunch of options here. Now, we'll be embedding this in our website, so it's totally fine to make one for the phone. You can also make one for the web, and then you can see the different sizes. Make one for Instagram and so on. Anyway, so what I want to do is create a new file. So I'm just going to click here. Let it get, oh, nope. That's not what I want. Let me go back home. I want to make sure I click on the phone, sorry. Okay, so now you see it's set up the little screen for me. And this is called the artboard. So this is where you're going to add images, this is where you're going to add your clickable features, and then you will be creating your app based on your design. So I didn't talk about this, but I do in class where you need to open up Lucid and create a mind map of how your app should work. So I'm just going to make a very simple one here. And I just want to do it with two screens. So I've got one screen here. I'm going to add another screen here. So now I've got two. And let me just enlarge this. You can move the whole screen around by hitting your space bar, and you can see this little hand shows up. So I'm just going to scoot this over. Now I'm going to scoot this one over a bit so I have a bit of room. And this is the feature to do that. So I'm just going to scoot it over. Okay, so now I want a background picture. And what I'm going to do is hit File and Import. And I already have some images ready. As I mentioned in class, what you need to do is get some images ready. Probably need to open up Photoshop and create a few. So I'm just going to take this image of an egret. Now you can see it's way too big for right now. I'm just going to drag it down, move it over, and I'm going to keep dragging it until it's the size that I want. Now I'm going to move it down. I'll show you how to make a nice little spot on your app. So imagine that this is the phone. Let me just move it down a little bit further. And you can see I've got some blank spot. Let me create a square. I'm just going to fill this. And you can see it's blank right now. But if you go to this window and scroll down, there's a fill, and here's a little eyedropper. Now what this eyedropper will do is if you hold it over here, you can pick one of these colors. And let me just, I sort of like this green. Let me see how this looks like at the top. So maybe that's how I want it. If not, you can just hit the click again and maybe use some of the white tan from the egret. So we'll just keep it like that. So that's what our home screen will be. Now, of course, you want to create a menu for where people will go once you create your app and what it's supposed to do. So I'm going to make a box here. So I just clicked on the square. You can make a circle, triangle, you can draw something. And I'm just going to make a little drop-down box. Now this might be a little too big, so I'm just going to drag it here. Now I want to write some text in here. So you come over to the T, and you can see the little text box comes up, and click on that, and write in here. You just write birds. Now this is a little small, so I'm going to down here. This is the size. Let's see what happens if we double that. Okay, that's a better size. And then let me just move it over. And you'll get these nice little lines. It'll center it for you. You can change the font. You can do a whole bunch of things with this. You can make it disappear a little if you want to. I'm not going to do that. And of course, we just talked about changing all the colors, and you can use the dropper again if you wanted something to match this. Okay, so let's say I'm going to create my other window. will also be about birds. And I don't have actually a picture of a bird, but I'll just type robin just for an example. So we'll put that here. Okay, so right now I've got two birds. Now I'm thinking in my design that you click on robin and it'll take you to a spot where there is a robin. So I want to join these and lock them together in a group. First, what I'm going to do is make robin a component, because if I click on that, a component is what you click on to do something. So I'm just going to right click and say make component, and then you'll see it show up over here. Okay, so I've got that. Now I want to group these. So I'm going to highlight from corner to corner, and then I'm going to right click and say group. Okay, so I've got that. Now what usually happens with these apps is you've got a menu in the other windows too. So I want to replicate this. I'm just going to hit Control C for copy and then Control V, and then I've got a second one here. Now these have the same, this will be the same, or a component down here for robin. Okay, I'm just going to move this in. And I may not like the color right now, but that's okay. This is just an example. So let's move to the second screen. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to import a picture. Now again, like I said, I don't have a robin. So what I will do is just take this statue. We'll pretend that it's a robin. I'm going to make it the size I want. I will drag it so it'll fit into this box a little better. Not quite, almost there. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to leave this same type of spot. I want to take a box here, fill it in. I'm going to go down to the eyedropper and find a color. Maybe this color at the top. Okay, so I've got like a little border at the top and then my pretend robin down at the bottom. I'm going to move this in. We'll put this here. Okay, so what I probably would do is try and make these about the same height. Now if I move this one over, I'd get these nice little lines showing me that it's the same. Okay, so now I've got two windows here. Now, as I said, in my design, what I want to do is click on robin and have it go to this robin. So what you need to do now is go to prototype. And then everything in here is clickable. So if I wanted to tap on this heron, what I've got here is an arrow, and I could say, okay, when the heron is tapped, you can look over here, you tap it, you get a transition, and it's going to this name. And it's going to dissolve and then ease out. Now, I actually don't want this, so I'm going to delete that. But I do want robin. Now, this whole box, you can click on and go to somewhere. Or because I made robin a component, I can say if you drag on robin, or if you tap on robin, let's go to this window. Okay, now you can test this. So I just hit, I'm in prototype, this is where you have to test it, and then I hit play. Now if I click robin, well, what should happen is this screen will show up. And sure enough, it does. So that definitely works. Now, when you're in the second screen, people usually want a way to get back to the home screen. So what I want to do is click on bird. And so when they get back here, I'm going to have them come back to the main screen. And let's test this. So click on robin. Okay, because I'm in the second screen. Okay, so here's the front screen. Click on robin, and it goes to our robin. Go to birds, which is the home screen, and birds. Now, you can do a few other things, especially if you don't think that people would find this very intuitive. What you can do is I've got a little home symbol here. Oops, let me go into design. It won't work in prototype. let me make this smaller. And say we will put this here. Oop. Where did it go? Let me try that again. Import. What is there? Okay. Okay, so excuse me. I'm going to make this the home button. So now what I want to do in prototype is that when someone hits birds, I don't want them going back to, well, I really do because that's the only place, but I want them to go back to home. And what I forgot to do, this is a good lesson, is that if you go back to here, I want to make this a component. And so now go to birds and click into there. Okay, so what you can see is I made a little bit of a mistake here. Of course, you want the home button on the second page. So what I'm going to do here is click on this. I'm going to say go back to the home screen. And let's get rid of this. Okay, so let's test this out. Let's go into prototype, which we are. Okay, I want to go to Robin. Okay, that looks like a Robin. I want to go back home. So you can see how that all works, and you can also see the mistakes I made. So it was a good lesson. Okay, once you're happy with this, you can make multiple connections, multiple artboards. We're just making this simple. You want to go to share. And then what you have here is, I'm just going to name this. In view setting, there's a number of settings you can do here. What I'd like you to do is hit presentation. And then anyone with a link, and then create a link. And so what it's going to do is create the link for you. Just give it a second. You can see here you've got the direct link. You also have an embed code. So I want you to save both, and I want you to put the embed code on your website. And that's how you make a simple app.